Mm, yeah. I don't think she will be listening, so yeah. Yeah, um, I can't say I've really ever played tennis other than Wii Sports. Uh, it it did tennis alright. Yeah, it's just yeah, the thing with tennis, I think the I mean, the only ways to really do tennis are either to make it like a mini game where you have to hit the button at the exact right time, or it's just literally just button smashing. You know? There's not a lot of depth there to work with. Yeah. Yeah, you're calling plays, even if you're doing, like, the career mode, you're I mean, it's different every single play because you can either be doing a run play or a pass play, or you may even just be blocking. Uh, but and yeah, like baseball, with it, you have to hit the pitch that's thrown to you if you're hitting, or if you're the pitcher, you have to choose which pitch you want to throw and where to throw it. Uh, yeah, yeah, and yeah, yeah. Alright. Yeah. As I was saying, the NBA games also have like the mini game on shots too, where you have to release the button at the exact right time. Uh, yeah, because if you hold it too long, they hold on to the ball too long, and actually, if you hold it way too long, they go up for a jump shot and come back down without ever shooting, and you get a travel foul. um, or too soon, and it'll hit the front of the rim, something like that. Yeah. Um, Yeah, so yeah, it's just I don't think, like I said, tennis has that much depth as far as a sports game goes. But heck, we recently what Tour de France game come out, so heck if I know how. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's still just button smashing. It's do I press X for a uh, regular swing, square for a backhand, a lob shot. You know, uh, that's weird that he can only hear me.
Let's see. They should hear me now. Yep. It's okay. I didn't say anything good in the beginning anyway. We just talked about tennis. Have you heard of whatever Arca Degated? It's.
I have not.
I gotta admit, when I went to go take a look at the picture and see what genre it was, I was not expecting shooter. I haven't heard anything about this developer or publisher though, so.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Hip hop concert of cooperative and competitive multiplayer. Excuse me.
So was it like a rhythm shooter?
Yeah, it'd be a hip hop banging phoenix rising from the ashes of a near disaster. um, on July 2021. It's just an old article. When did it but it's releasing on July 8th. Wow, what's the chance of that? It's releasing on July 8th, but this article was also July 8th, but of last year. But yeah. I was pretty sure I was looking at the mirror. Oh shit. It was a major blow. A new concept for a new original game built on the framework they already created. Whatever. Yeah, this incorporated the team's love of electronic hip hop and punk rock culture, as well as employ their multiplayer expertise to form a game that they couldn't get enough of playing. What is it? Let's start with the premise. Arcade owner becomes threatened. It's a ruthless corp, whatever. You're creating a custom character, which can rock over 700 cosmetic shit. Then you make your way to the arcade. It's the primary hub. You link with friends. Paddles the other way with friends, blasting apart enemies in third-person combat with a variety of firearms, while capturing points and destroying designated target. The game is run-based in that you and your friends have one shot to progress through the world's many levels as far as you can.
I know it may not be anything like it, but the artwork gives me major Splatoon vibes.
Definitely. I agree with that. So it also is blending PvE and PvP elements. So they're cooperating, but it looks like you're still point-based for whatever. You can trade weapons, ping objects, quality loot you found. Competitive mini games. They're trying to further break up the routine. It looks interesting. I'll probably look. Is it release on the 8th? Probably look to see people playing it. And it's releasing for all systems. Could be good. I don't think we're gonna get any real more information inside of a review that you're reading, right? Oh, it's Bandai Namco. The Clonia Fantasy Reverie series. I feel like this is probably something I'm supposed to know about. Seeming how it says it's coming to Switch in July. But it's also apparently coming to everything. Yeah, it's a platforming game, so not really your thing, but
No.
yes. And if this isn't a horror game, then this marketing team has done a horrible job. Oh, it's an adventure game. I guess that can count, right? It's a psychological horror game, though. I hate... That is not what an adventure is.
Some people might find that adventurous.
And those people have issues. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. To me, I think it depends largely on the setting. If the setting takes you across a large area, then it's an adventure game. If you're stuck in a house, it is not an adventure game.
You're adventuring the house. By that logic, well, no, that means Resident Evil is an adventure game. All of them. I'm just curious. Yeah, adventure. Well, I'm an old fogey. Adventure means something entirely different to me, so. But there it is. Yeah, I guess that makes sense then. But yeah, so these are
Adventure, I think, is it's a game genre that's usually tacked on to the end of other genres,
Yeah, it's
like
not.
action adventure, or RPG adventure, or
Yeah,
yeah, in this case, horror adventure.
horror adventure. It sounds so fucking wrong.
But yeah, just straight adventure games. I
That
really can't think of one off the
po-
top of my
uh,
head. I'm
point
sure they exist.
point and click point and click games are usually what I think of if I think of just something that would be designed as adventure, like Day of the Tentacle, stuff like that, like these type games, where it's basically just a story that you are playing through. It's not really a walking simulator because you don't really get to walk around, but like stuff like this where you then have to click on the scene to like, get items, to unlock puzzles. That's what I think of when I think of it. Like if you define something as just an adventure game.
Yeah, but even then, you've stayed out that like puzzles. Normally, once again, puzzle takes over. It becomes a puzzle game
So
if you
then it's a
introduce puzzles
puzzling
in.
adventure.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
adventure
fair.
always takes the back seat to the mechanics.
That's fair. Yeah. Platforming adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, with it being the holiday weekend, I'm sure there's not too much in the way of news. I'll search, but is there anything that I know sometimes you're a little bit more in tune than I am? Anything that you heard of?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Been pretty nothing.
Yeah, the multi. I don't. Did we talk about? I know the last episode. I think we talked about the third-party Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, we
Um,
mentioned it was coming up.
Yeah, so some of the stuff from that is that Persona is coming to the Switch. Persona 3, or 3, 4, and 5, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's the big news, and there's some other really, but we're not too heavy with the Switch, so I'm sure anybody who's interested in that information probably already knows it. Yeah, there's really not even much here in terms of like Game Insider quits. Yeah, well, let's take a look at the gamer. It says the week of June 25th. Yeah, this was also in the direct. Mario plus Rabbids 2 is launching this October. There's also a pretty interesting Nintendo game third party that's supposed to be very similar to like farming sim RPG game that's not like Rune Factory, or similar to Rune Factory, but is not in name Rune Factory. It's made by it's published by Square Enix, so it looks very Final Fantasy. So I'll probably get that whenever it comes out. Pac-Man World Remake is missing Miss Pac-Man. A repack. Okay. An unexpected remake of 1991's PS1 games. I didn't even know this game existed, and I was actually a decent fan of Pac-Man. I played Miss Pac-Man. The arcade was at a Portuguese club back in Connecticut that I frequented very often as a child.
I
So.
believe we had this game.
Oh
I
shit!
know we had some sort of Pac-Man game that was not traditional Pac-Man. It was some like I can't even remember or like describe what it was. So it quite possibly was this game.
Gotcha. Well, apparently Miss Pac-Man won't be in it because of surrounding legal issues with Miss Pac-Man. Pac-Mom.
Interesting. So how do
Pe-
you get the rights for Pac-Man but can't get it for Miss Pac-Man?
I don't know.
Like the people that hold the copyright rights for Pac-Man are just like, yeah, sure, go for it. The people like Miss Pac-Man's like, nah, not a chance.
Yeah, and apparently it appears that this means that Bandai Namco has not just given up on trying to get the rights to use Miss Pac-Man. So now it's just Pac-Mom. Like, you can't. Oh.
To be fair, if you think about it, Pac Mom is a better name than Miss Pac-Man.
It depends on where you are in the story, right? Before the
Yeah,
kids or after the kids.
yeah,
And
I guess.
I don't know enough about the game that they're doing. I do know that Miss Pac-Man in the arcade, one of the cutscenes that you get for the quote-unquote stories in between actual Pac-Man levels, and one is them meeting Mrs. Pac-Man and Pac-Man. The second one is the chase, and then the third one is they drop off a baby. So I'm beginning to think the chase was some weird courting ritual uh, that I don't really want to think about too deeply. But yeah, um, so if it's post that, then yeah, I guess it makes sense. Miss Pac-Man was like, "Ah, just call me Pac Mom." No, whatever the fuck that means. Oh, there's gonna be a Fallout TV show. Amazon begins casting for Fallout. I don't know if I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think it largely depends on where they put this.
Yeah. And besides just begin casting, it means that we have no real information on
Yeah,
who, what, where, and the story. So I guess we'll
yeah,
find out.
because I mean, if you think about it, or like, uh, if you look at historically at the Fallout games, usually you're like the only person coming out of the vault.
Yep.
Uh, so like Fallout 3, you escape from the vault. Fallout 4, you're the only survivor from the vault. Uh,
Yep. Uh,
and so like,
with the
where's
exception
this?
Bethesda's is New Vegas, you're a
Yeah,
courier and already outside of the vault, but
yeah, there is no, you're not a vault dweller then.
dweller.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that comes into the question is it gonna surface or be around the vault dweller? Or is it gonna be New Vegas style where
Yep.
the like information about the vaults exists, but no one really knows what's in them or has been in them.
Or can even get in them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be very happy to see them do Vault 43. I don't know if you remember. Let me look up the exact details for it, but
Alright.
Vault 43 is my favorite vault because all the vaults are experiments.
Yep.
Uh,
All
and so
social experiments.
Vault 43 was 20 men, 10 women, and a panther. So,
God, imagine being the what do they call over?
yeah, the overseer, or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, overseer. That's what it was. In that one, finding out what your designation is and just be like, well, I'm just gonna lock myself in here.
Yeah. Or it's the funny thing is they all show up and they're like, "All right, it's time to meet the overseer," and then the panther walks in.
The panther is the overseer.
uh,
Yeah, turns out the overseer is the only one that survived.
yeah. There's another great vault where there was only one person in the vault with a box of puppets.
Oh God,
Uh,
that
yeah, he
is.
went crazy,
Yep.
obviously,
Yep.
and one of the puppets murdered another puppet, and they had this whole jury and trial and everything.
God, just actually, it would be interesting to see either a media piece that just on the full madness of the vault.
Yeah, phone call right quick.
Yep, and I will continue while he leaves. So apparently, there's an also unofficial look at the PSVR 2. So they've been giving us information on the PlayStation VR. Presumably as and when that information is ready. Unfortunately for those in charge of that gradual reveal schedule for the console, indie studio Bit Planet Games got a bit ahead itself this week. Someone at the studio shared a photo of the PSVR 2, so we have that photo on my screen for anybody watching live. Um, seemingly not realizing they were giving the world its very first glimpse at the headset and controllers in the wild. Photos quickly taken down, but thanks to the permeance of the internet, yep, still out there.
So I don't know if this is just what I think what's the Mandela effect or whatever, but I feel like I've seen this picture before. I don't think this is new.
Yeah, and it could be that that's just the actual screenshot of like something else, and yeah, not the actual one that was there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's any legal repercussions though to on a journal website if you've put the information out. Doesn't matter that you took it down. I didn't sign an NDA.
Yeah.
uh,
Somebody else did.
yeah,
Now they could put up a cease and desist and force you to take it down.
that's true.
But
Maybe that's what. Yeah, and that's why that's not an official person because they did say it's out there if you want to see it. So let's just say PSVSR2. PSVR2. My brain is not working. PSVR2, and then we will go into the images. Yeah, this is the final reveal. It was the same one. So, yeah, I mean that was what was in there. So yeah, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. The thing with uh, the PSVR, and they probably have to do this because it connects to the PlayStation, but the cord on the headset, it, especially with the Quest 2 out now,
Oh man.
you know, because my brother has a VR system with the cord, and I have the Quest without it,
Yeah.
and it, I mean, you may not realize it, but there's a huge difference
No,
there.
there is. We bought the first one, Quest with the cord, and we actually a couple months ago purchased one without. And you are 100% right. There is a huge difference between uncorded versus corded.
Yeah.
Just to back up a little bit, Ryan added, so with that guy in the vault for the puppets one be Jeff Dunham. And well, if he was dead before we could see his full glory. But yeah, that does look corded. I wonder if they will have a cordless option. I don't see
I
why not.
doubt it.
Really?
Uh,
Because
yeah.
like our PlayStation 5 ones aren't like they're not corded. There's no corded option. Like sure, they comes with a cord to charge it, but honestly, it's just still using the Bluetooth. It's just charging your device.
For what now? Oh,
PlayStation 5 controllers.
yeah, but I think there's a big difference in a controller and a
VR
VR.
headset. Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, sending video instead of just inputs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they would need to create a console from the ground up with that in mind, which I don't think the PS5 was done that
Yeah.
for.
And
Um,
since we're just getting first looks on it, there's probably not that much to go off yet. But
yeah, but and there's also the thing that PlayStation VR I think is more set into the more grounded VR, I guess, where it is meant to be played sitting down as
yeah.
far instead of other VR systems which are meant to be in open rooms.
Hmm.
So in that case, the cord doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, you're sitting. It's not this huge, heavy thing on your head, right? You're sitting down, and your ass is already taking majority of the force of gravity and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. More Skate 4 testing. Okay, I didn't even know Skate 4. I don't think I played any of the skates, and I like skateboarding, so I don't know what that tells you.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't say I've ever played any of them either. The last skateboarding game I played, I think, was like Tony Hawk
pro,
2 back in the day.
I played all the Tony Hawk Pro Skaters. But yeah, they're at the halfway point of the year, and no word apparently. EA did say that kicked off this year by saying that it would reveal Skate 4 and it would launch soon or whatever, and we haven't heard any shit. So. They were running a second play test. EA showed off some very rough alpha footage on Thursday. I mean, the game needs work. So next alpha test will take place later this month if you're interested in that. And if you want to be a part of it, you'll need to sign up to be an insider. I don't even know what that means, but don't sell your soul to EA.
Yeah, I think this bothers me in the fact because my job is actually testing. I think in the world of video gaming, we've lost concept of what alphas and betas actually are.
Yes, 100%.
Because this is not an alpha test. This would be a beta test. Alpha tests are internal.
Correct. That's in the nature of what an alpha is. Like, well, even beta tests, right? If I have to pre-order something a day before it releases to get a 3-day early into the beta, that's not a fucking beta.
No, what Overwatch doing right now is not a beta test. It's a network test.
Yes. It's a stress test if you wanted to, But yeah.
The beta test has already come and gone. They did have a beta, but this is not it.
I will also say, as someone who still plays Storybook Brawl, that's also not really a beta.
No, that's an early access.
Yes.
Which is also similar to, you could say that's what Overwatch is doing, is network test early access at the moment.
For people that care about the aspects of what those words actually mean in our industries, the software industry in general, like for what he's saying, alpha means very rough outline sketch. Like generally, you would never ever put anything you're working in as an alpha out into the public because it would be too raw.
Yeah, and a lot of times your testers in-house aren't even getting your alpha.
No.
That's dev testing.
Yes. And gaming may work differently as far as what I'm used to. But it's still like you're not playing an alpha. And usually beta is all right. We have the core done, but obviously we need to see what bugs we can exist. Do things work the way that were intended? Do we want to have UI fixes? Or anything, anything of note to improve the performance, and that's a beta test.
Yeah, and these like tests that we normally get that they call beta tests now are mostly finished products.
Yep.
These are just like network test or polishing test, if you want to call them that. I don't know what a technical term would be for them, but
there might not even be one that exists, to be honest with you. But the point is, as far as how we define a beta test, these ain't it. And then, as the closer you get to actually being released, at that point, you're just showing a game that's early.
Yeah, maybe it's a demo.
Exactly, it's a demo. Maybe it's a 1.0 demo, right? And then the game releases with a 1.1 patch that does change things, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a gold. It's already gold, right?
Yeah, and that was actually something that it's kind of dumb, but I liked with the Final Fantasy Stranger in Paradise. They released 2 demos for the game. Those were basic tests that any other company would have called alphas or betas, but they called them demos.
Yeah. Squeenix, well, that wasn't really Squeenix that published, right? But it, despite doing some shady shit with some cryptocurrency and really diving into that, ultimately, they're pretty transparent. So I personally like Square Enix as a company. John Cena is a gamer. Alright. When someone unearthed the image of John Cena playing a Switch at Nintendo headquarters from the console's launch, most thought it was to point out his camouflage shoes for the 1,000th time. It was actually so Dan Rickert, who formerly worked in WWE, could reveal Cena spent the entire time he was there nagging Nintendo to hurry up and make a new 2D Metroid game. The photo was taken in 2017, so 4 years before Dread would finally arrive. Nintendo reportedly sent John Cena a copy of it when it launched last year. To which Cena's people replied, "John loves it." That seems weird. It seems like, just like us, there's not too much content to to talk
Yeah.
about, so we just kind of decided to throw that in there.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Uh,
Because, yeah, it's not overly surprising
nope.
that wrestling and video games
Yep.
kind of go hand in hand. Literally, WWE has a sister kind of streaming partnership. It's run by one of the WWE wrestlers, and they have a legit belt that they have title matches for.
That's hilarious. I didn't know
That
that.
is like, yeah, I mean, it's recognized by the WWE. It's on their webpage and everything.
Yeah, that and I don't know if some journalists. This is a video game journalist company, so I would expect them to kind of already realize this. But there was a huge difference in the early 2000s and late 90s when we found out that Vin Diesel was a nerd and played D&D and had video games than 2022. Do you know, like, what I'm trying to say? Like, gaming is now just part of mainstream culture to the point where no one even bats an eye at it, Like,
Yeah.
in the 90s, I hung out with cool people, and as a teenager, I was worried about certain. I didn't tell fucking anybody that I played D&D. um, Not that I'm ashamed of it now, but like then, right? It's like, oh man, I don't want people to know that about me. um, yeah, we don't live in that era anymore. It's not like, yeah, oh, this person plays video games. What a nerd! Like, no one fucking says that shit. Maybe the type of video game you play will get you. But I also don't like that. I think that's dumb too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the guy's name.
Oh, the one who runs the WWE.
No. That I already know. I'm more to your point about the nerd thing.
Yeah.
And AEW, which is the WWE's rival company or whatever. There was one of the wrestlers actually. His entrance music was written by the same guy that wrote Critical Role's entrance music.
That's fucking awesome.
And he has a D&D theme, like that's his character theme.
That is
like he comes out
awesome.
with shirts with like D20s on them and stuff like that. And he had a feud with another wrestler, and the wrestler posted something of pictures of him working out in the gym with his shirt off and everything, and he's like, it's like it's like, does it look like I play D&D? And a lot of like big name or like big D&D players like Vin Diesel and stuff like that responded.
Yeah.
But yeah, the response. But the one that really stuck out to me was like the Joe Manganiello, whatever you say his last name. He played Archon in the Critical Role.
Yeah.
He posted one, an exact same picture, like he always duplicated the picture of himself, and he's definitely more ripped than this wrestler was, and his comment was, "I do."
With no contest, it's I do.
Yeah, it was just a retweet of his original with his picture, and it's just like, "I do."
God. Yeah. I don't know. It's just something that you could tell that I'm guessing that person is probably closer to my age than early 20s, like my sister's age.
Yeah.
Just because that was a thing to be conscious of growing up. That just doesn't matter anymore, which is a good thing.
And I'm not even going to say that the guy that originally posted it was even doing, or even meant it, because wrestlers post things to eat anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, he's playing a heel character. He wants people to
you
respond in that manner.
Exactly. You want retweets. So
he may not
you want
even
engagement.
Mean it, but yeah, it went viral, and it was pretty cool to see.
That, and, like, if you take a look at Travis, who's not really a bodybuilder, right? Dude, like, sometimes I'm just looking at his biceps. I just catch myself like, being like, ooh, like, you could like, sure, he's not the biggest dude. He's not Vin Diesel or like anybody like that. But like, this is very much a nerd's nerd for the most part, and yeah, he's a guy that takes care of himself and then some. So.
Yeah, I also find it very humorous that he hates anything horror.
Brittany's been watching a lot of like just funny clip takes, and she's found the ones with him reacting to Londa's transformations.
Yeah.
And the look of just object horror that he has. It doesn't involve his character at all, just like the
Yeah.
and he's not like he's an actor, right? But you could tell like this is just genuinely just skeeving him out.
Yeah. It was funny when they did their whole Kickstarter for the Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah.
One of the stretch goals was that they would videotape him going through a haunted house. So that video exists somewhere.
Oh my god. Oh, that's great. But so was everything video game related that's come across the table here. You have anything you want to bring up? Anything I missed?
I don't really have much. Just my normal reports. Dan still has not beaten Melania.
Really? Oh, you sent me
Yeah.
that one-shot video, and I was like, oh, he's got this down, right? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, but I sent you the video. Did you look at his face on that video?
I did.
It went from like pure jubilation because he thought he had it to just abject horror
Yes.
in less than 2 seconds.
Yep. Oh, it's so good. I will, for the YouTube and the Spotify, I will link to that clip, because it is amazing.
Because it's just like, I'm finally going to do this to own. It's just like...
God.
And the thing that sucks is he went back and replayed the whole fight.
Yeah.
Earlier in that, he missed a swing.
Oh, so if he hit it, it was just over.
Yeah. If he makes contact with that swing, he wins. But I'm also sitting and watching, and just in the clip that I sent you, there's an opening he should have taken that he didn't.
I did see that, but because I remember watching it and being like, he should be engaging right now. Just
because
like
it's one
fuck it.
hit.
Yep.
Because even in Elden Ring, and it's happened to me before, you can trade on a final hit with a boss and kill her.
Yeah.
You still get credit for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't want to go out that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that, I mean, I think it, especially after that many attempts, it does take away if you trade.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants a genuine win, but at this point, what was it, 2486?
That was then. He's at over 2,800 now.
Jesus, man. I gave him 2,200.
Yeah. I thought he had it at 2,000 because I thought he had everything. He had the mechanics at that point, but
executing a pretty much a no hit. Like, there is some wiggle room against one of the harder bosses, though. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to not just be 100% focus, and there's gonna be an element of luck that's just going to be there.
Yeah, because he got hurt of phase 2 one time, and there are 2 moves that she does in phase 2 that are basically, if they hit you, you're done.
Yep.
There's no coming back from it. She hit him with both moves back to back.
Damn.
He dodged the first one, but couldn't dodge the second. Just like...
God. I will say, though, I admire his willpower to continue. This guy, someone give him a lantern ring. Yeah,
for sure. Serious, because he started this fight on June 1st. It's July 4th.
Imagine doing something for a whole month.
Yeah.
For several hours a day. Well, not a day for 7 days a week, but still.
Yeah. I'd say on average he's streaming like 4 days a week because he has other responsibilities and stuff. So you're talking, what, 5 to 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, for a month, just fighting the same boss. Because, like, and he put out the thing out there that he can't play the Cuphead DLC until he beats the game, and the Cuphead DLC's been out for almost a week now.
He's got to be so hurt. Like,
Yeah,
I want him to do it.
yeah,
Like, you know, like sometimes it's fun to root against people. Like, and I'm not gonna lie to you. When you first told me, I was definitely like, yeah, I want him to get to like, you know, 8K, and then I want him to get to 2K, knowing that he was going to get there, right? And then, oh, this isn't definitely going to 2200, and then or whatever, right? I was rooting against him, but at this point, I really just want him to win so he can enjoy himself.
yeah. I think it broke for me around 1500 because I wanted him to hit 1000 too, just because he spent so long just dismissing everybody's like, you're gonna have trouble with this boss. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
And that's like, I just wanted this boss to hit 1000, just
Yeah,
to,
just to bring it home so he couldn't
yeah,
shit talk it later.
yeah. And then he hit 1500. I was like, all right, now he can beat the thing. It's
Please.
like, but now we're almost at 3000. It's like, and I'm just sitting here thinking, and other people in the chat are like, yeah, when he's done with this, he'll finish the final boss off in like 10 tries. And I'm sitting here thinking, no,
No.
the final boss is going to take him 500
At
at least.
least. Yes, because even if you can, it doesn't matter, and you can correct me since you're more familiar with some of the other Soul games, but difficulty doesn't really translate between bosses if they're done well, in my experience, because you still have to learn that boss's patterns.
Yeah.
And if
it's
they're
not
in
just,
depth and difficult, it's not like, hey, it's easier than Melora, so it's only going to be this. It doesn't matter.
yeah, and it's not just that as well. Melania, when you're fighting her, you have phase 1, and then you go to phase 2, which is just phase 1 with like 2 new moves.
Yep.
The final boss is 2 entirely separate bosses.
Yep. Which means
And
that, sweet, you learned phase 1. Great.
Now you got to go fight an entirely new boss.
Yep,
And
and
if
you have
you
to.
die, you have to go back to the first one.
Yep. Yeah, man. There's a lot to be spoken for that. There's no way. Really, when I think of Souls bosses, at least for Bloodborne, I really put things in 3 boxes. Hey, this is a pretty easy encounter as long as I'm being focused and diligent. I probably will one-shot it. Medium, which is like, you know, this is an encounter where I might die a couple of times until I learn the rhythm. And then hard, right, where it's like, there's no room for error. I need to learn exactly what these signaling moves mean and how to react. In the hard ones, like, there's nothing you can do besides put in your time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if one hard one is less hard or more hard than the other one, because the requirement is you need to know.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing with the final boss that is really going to take him, I think, so long is the fact that the first boss does not have a huge health pool, but he does crazy amount of damage. I'm not sure Dan can survive any hit that he does.
Damn.
I may be wrong. He might be able to.
Yeah.
But
it's not too many people doing crazy no vig runs outside of one hitters, so or no hitters.
But on the flip side of that, his moves are very telegraphed. So after a few tries, you should theoretically be able to learn what the moves are and dodge them. Problem with that is Dan does not pay 100% attention to the game because he's a streamer first and a player second. So it's going to take him more than a few tries. Now, if he does manage to be able to survive hits, that will shorten the amount of time that it's going to take him to learn the first phase.
Yep.
If he can't survive the first hits, he may take 200, 300 tries just to get through the first boss before he learns everything. But if he can survive the hits, the problem you're going to run into is that it's going to deplenish his healing really quickly.
Yep.
Which is a problem that I ran into when I was playing, and I was doing it at 60 vig. I was
Nice.
running out of healing potions before I got to the second boss.
Damn.
Uh, and the second boss has moves that they don't hit. I mean, it does have moves that are going to one-hit him, but
Yeah.
it has other moves that are not as easy to dodge. Some of them you can't dodge, and they just tick your health down. Just, and it's just, and if you run out of the healing, eventually it's going to get you. And that boss has a huge health pool.
Damn. Nickel and diamond.
Yeah.
I do hope he makes it though.
Yeah, and he will. He's not. Obviously, we've seen from that clip that he's one hit away. He just has to put it all together.
It's still so sad though.
Yeah. I would venture a guess that he would beat her this week. Though I thought that last week
I'm
too,
about to
so we'll
say,
see.
like, but honestly, after seeing that clip, I assumed, but by the time we were talking, that yeah, he would have got it.
Yeah, but we shall see. But I do imagine by this time next week when we're doing this again, he will still be on Elden Ring because I don't think he gets through both bosses before then.
I hope for the first time. I do hope you're wrong, for his sake.
Yeah.
God. All right. Well, that was Dan news. You got anything else?
Keeping in the Elden Ring sphere.
Yeah. How's your randomizer going?
Well, I am. Let's see. If you're looking at story bosses, I've beaten two of the. Well, I've beaten the first two, which would be the ones you would need to progress the story. However, they didn't drop great runes, so I need to find, or I needed to find two great runes. I just found the second great rune, so.
Nice. So now you can continue.
Yeah, but I am in the third area now, which, as far as the story goes, would be optional normally because I'd already had two great runes. You wouldn't need that third one.
Yep.
But I don't know where the great runes are, so
Yeah,
there could be one there.
I'm about to say, at this point, I feel like you have to do a full run through, just a full exploration of everything.
But as I was playing through, so I was going through the first Legacy dungeon, which is where the first story boss is, and I found the Uchigatana there.
Nice.
So I was already Dex build, blade or blood build and everything, so I just went straight to that. Got through the first Legacy dungeon, and then I got to the second area, and that is where I started to feel the power creep, especially with the randomizer and everything. And you could feel the Uchigatana was not up to par because it is a katana, and you think katanas are fast, but the skill set for it is slow and methodical. Yeah. Which is the problem I had with it when I used it in my regular run through. But I was just going from dungeon to dungeon and was riding around on a horse, and there was an item laying on the ground just out in the middle of the water, and picked it up, and it was the Rivers of Blood. Which is
Are you serious?
Yes, the best sword in the game.
Yeah, it's the easiest to do the blood build one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the bleed build, I mean.
And it's super late game normally. You can't get it until you beat like 7 bosses or something like that at minimum.
Sometimes, and most of the time, the randomizer just fuckets, but sometimes it givets.
And not only that, it gave me. It's already a +8 out of 10.
Woo!
And I already have the stone to make it a +10. I just have to find the +9 stone.
Damn.
And so
that's a
then
good
it
run.
will be maxed out. Yeah.
That's a good run.
Yeah, I had to actually like find gear to put on because my stats weren't even high enough to wield it when I found it. So I had to buff my stats so I could
actually wield it. That's hilarious.
But yeah, the power creep completely disappeared once I found that.
You're like, never mind, I got this.
Yeah.
Oh,
you still have to be careful on places, especially because underground, when you go into the underground area, hordes of enemies, and in the regular game they're really slow moving.
Yeah.
And so you can pick them off one at a time and everything. And the randomizer, now you have a horde of enemies that are not slow moving.
Who knows what they are? Hey, this
Yeah.
dragon's here.
Well, in fact, one of them was a dragon in a horde of other things. So,
Dude, oh, I know you don't really stream, but if you streamed that game, I'd watch it.
yeah, luckily, like I said, Rivers of Blood is OP. I just ran up underneath the
Oh.
dragon and just unleashed its ability and killed it in like 2 seconds.
Jesus Christ. Especially +8, that's insane.
Yeah, so, yeah, but I did that yesterday. I haven't played it any today, but what I was going to say is that Hob has started the God Run 3.
Oh shit, are you starting with Elden?
Well, he started without, so this is how it started. He was waiting until he no-hit Elden Ring Rune Level 1.
Yep.
Because apparently that's the meta for Elden Ring no-hit right now. Go figure. And he cleared that, and so, I mean, and it makes sense. That was the first leg of the God Run. Don't need to go back and redo it. You just did it. Move on to the next game.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you plan to do it. Why would you redo it? Just count that one and then try to do the others.
Yeah, so he moved to Dark Souls 2 after that. Made it about halfway through the game and got hit.
So back to Elden.
No, so he and he actually explained it, and you remember when we looked back at his old God runs, and you noticed like every time you look at it, the order would be different.
Yep.
He randomizes the order.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he said he does it because there's no way he could just keep playing the same order over and over without going crazy. You need to keep it fresh.
Wow, that's an interesting take from someone who spent hundreds of hours doing a no-hit to begin with.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. Probably even closer to thousands of hours. But the point is,
he spent 2 years on God Run 1, I believe.
Yeah. I think I'm not trying to talk shit, right? I do think that's very interesting because I feel like the nature of no hitting means that you're playing something for like far longer attention than myself or somebody else.
Yeah, and like I was sitting here thinking, it's like obviously you would want to put the hardest games first.
Yeah, just because I want to succeed.
Yeah, because that way if you get like if I do all the easy games first and then do the hard one and get hit, I gotta go back and do those easy games again.
Yeah.
So do the hard ones first, and then that was my logical thinking. But I can also see it from his standpoint.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he's the one doing it.
I was about to say, and he's the one that's got to do it. So whatever works for him. I'm just surprised that was the take, because honestly, I feel like you don't get bored of stuff like that if this is what you do. But clearly,
I checked in earlier today on him, and he was doing Dark Souls 2 again as the first game, and Elden Ring was listed as the last game.
Wow. Dude,
which surprised me because he's only no-hit Elden Ring twice.
I was about to say, can you imagine getting through that whole entire thing and then getting the Elden Ring and getting like hit in the first boss?
Yeah, like that happened to him in the first God Run. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen it.
He got all the way through and he had Demon Souls last, which is the easiest one.
Yeah.
And got hit by the tutorial boss.
Oh, damn.
And it wasn't even that it hit him; he was behind it, and it just took a step backwards.
So it just stepped on him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But that's good. That should be awesome when he completes that. It's honestly, I feel like having watched those clips, it really is just a matter of time.
Oh yeah, whether it be a month or 2 years.
A year and a half or 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny though that he completed God Run 1, the first one.
Mm.
I think it was the week before Sekiro came out. So,
Then he was like, "Well, I got this new game to no hit, and then add to
yeah,
the list."
and then do God Run 2,
Yeah,
which I think he finished in October of this last year. So he
and
didn't
then
finish
Elden Ring.
that. Yeah. So
So it means that we're gonna get another From game by the time.
yeah, I think the next one is a new Armored Core game. Or at least that's the rumors.
Got it.
Yeah, the rumor that is something that has come out with video game news is there are heavy rumors that they have a game that's in post development now. They
Wow,
just haven't announced what it is. And so yeah, the rumors are heavily that it's Armored Core, which is where they got their start.
that's really cool.
It's a mech game, so not really anything we
Not my
care
thing.
that much
Yeah,
about. But
but yeah, it's still cool for the people that like that. So not really that traditional From game then.
well, it's super traditional.
Oh yeah, I guess I should choose my words better. But yeah, cool. So we'll get to, I'm sure, some dad news too, because I am interested in that. I feel like between I do speed running, like watching it with the games done quick every now and then, but I'm not really huge into it. I feel like I'm much more into the no hitting
Yeah,
uh, than that than speed running.
yeah. I've watched some speed running. And speed running, I think, are really good for almost if you want to learn the most OP strategies.
Yeah,
Because no hitters don't always go with the most OP stuff because
there
a
could
lot of
be
times it's
danger.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
Speedrunners are like, I'm gonna go get this because it's gonna make me do it faster.
Mm-hmm. That and there's
uh,
forgiveness, right? Like, sure, if you
yeah,
die, you lose seconds, but if that one death bought you more time than it cost you, then it's worth, as
yeah.
opposed to a no hitter that invalidates the whole strategy.
I will say though, I do only really like speed runs that are like glitchless speed runs. I
Yes.
don't care about watching what distortion that beat the game in 7 minutes by zipping.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in that for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And if the community wants to, hey, this is a glitch run, or any percent with with glitches, without glitches, that's up to them. But I'm right there with you. Like exploiting bugs and glitches, it doesn't do it for me. I'm not part of the community, and I would never, even if I was, I wouldn't really say that's not speedrunning because it is. It's just not my flavor of how I would want to play it.
Yeah, like
So,
even the guy that I watched who done most of it glitchless would still do occasional glitches. Like Elden Ring has some of the bosses have door glitches that if you quit out at a certain point, uh, you can go into the boss room and the boss is just standing there
yeah, nice.
and you just hit it. And he would do that because every speedrunner did it.
Yeah.
Um, there's no way you're going to put a time up if you're not doing that.
Yep.
Um, but they also did have the speedrun tournament a while back that was glitchless. Like they couldn't do that,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool.
Yep. Play the game.
And the best, I mean, that was an all remembrance one, so you had to beat all the big bosses, and the time was still sub 2 hours.
That's insane. That's awesome though.
Yeah,
Cause yeah, like even though like I would probably argue that in a vacuum, speedrunners are probably more adept and skilled at the game than no hitters.
yeah,
Just
and
just because they get more real time in.
yeah, and Hobb has even said on his stream I've watched, he said that speedrunners require much more focus than no hitters do. Because when you're speedrunning, you have to be 100% focused for the entire run.
Yep.
If you take your focus off, you lose seconds. Whereas no hitters, you only really have to be focused when you're in a boss fight.
Yep. We could sit there and talk to chat and do whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not
Yeah,
timed.
yeah,
But yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah. I think I do like watching no hits better, like you do, but I
Yeah,
do think if I was to do one, it would be speedrunning.
gotcha. Yeah, I probably can't. I probably don't have the patience and focus required for speedrunning. So I'd probably have to be the opposite. But I've never tried. Maybe one day I will give it a shot when my computer's not melting. But anything else you got? Any other news? So we got Dan news and Hob news.
No, I don't think so. That's about the only things I've been watching.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't been doing too much. So yeah, that's still a good amount of information for a very slow week. Um, of course, we hope that you continue. Hopefully, I can get my computer more functioning, and anybody who's interested in D&D setup, maybe I'll try to stream that on Sunday. That will require miracles, so do not quote me on that. But hopefully, we'll at least catch you next Monday for the continuation of the Tragikast. As always, I hope everyone has a good week, and we will see you later.
So yeah.